Okay, let's kick off with something I think we all run into, probably multiple times a week.
Oh, yeah.
You've got this simple task, right?
hmm
Maybe summarizing something for your team, prepping an agenda, whatever.
hmm
But first, you have to wade through just mountains of background stuff, documents, slides, notes, feedback,
Yeah.
hours of reading.
Yeah. Who's got time for that? It's that constant information
Wait,
overload. We have all this data, but just getting through it stops us from actually doing anything. And that feeling, that bottleneck, is really what Google seems to be tackling with Notebook LM.
right, Notebook LM.
Yeah.
It started as a beta, didn't it? But it feels like it's moved pretty fast since then.
It really has. Development's been rapid, and it's looking less like just another AI and more like something, well, fundamentally different for handling big chunks of information.
Yeah, I saw that distinction. My first thought was, oh, great, another chatbot.
Understandable.
But the sources we looked at, they quote the team behind it, calling it a tool for understanding. That sounds different.
That phrase is basically the mission statement, and that's what we want to dive into today. What makes it tick? How does it handle so much data? We're talking like 25 million words.
Wow.
Yeah. And how does it build trust? That's huge. And then how does it create personalized content just for you, the user?
Okay, let's unpack that. So
Right.
you open it up. What's the first impression? I heard it's pretty clean.
It is, remarkably so. It's all project-based. You start a project, you add your sources.
And sources aren't just text files anymore, are they?
No, definitely not. That's key. Google Drive docs, PDFs, sure, but also just pasted text, website links, even YouTube video transcripts now.
YouTube transcript.
And Google Slides. That's a big one for professionals. It's designed to pull in pretty much everything you'd use for a project.
Okay, so you load your stuff in, and the workspace, how's that laid out?
Simple, really. 3 main panels. On the left, you've got your sources panel, just lists everything you've added.
Got it.
In the middle, the chat panel, that's where you talk to the AI, ask your questions.
Standard chat interface.
Right. And then on the right, the studio panel. This is where the more structured stuff happens, like the audio overviews we'll get into, or study guides.
Okay, makes sense. But let's talk trust. That's the elephant in the room with AI, isn't it? Hallucinations, making stuff up.
Absolutely. We've all seen it. AI confidently stating nonsense. Notebook LM tackles this head on with something they call source grounding.
Source grounding, what does that mean in practice?
It means basically every single thing the AI generates comes with a little citation, a numbered link right there in the text.
Yeah, okay. Like footnotes.
Kind of, but better. Clicking that number is the magic trick. It doesn't just tell you the source document.
It takes you to the spot.
Exactly. It takes you directly to the precise passage in the original source material. It'll even highlight the specific section in a document, or a row in a table within a Google slide, or the timestamp in a YouTube transcript.
Whoa, okay, that's useful. So you can actually verify what it's saying,
Yeah.
immediately.
Instantly. It shifts it from a black box you just have to trust to more of a research assistant where you can always check the work. For you listening, this is huge for accuracy and, well, just peace of mind.
You're not just stuck with the summary. You can dive deeper if you need to.
Precisely.
Now, before we get into the really flashy features,
Yeah.
you mentioned that studio panel on the right. There's a notes section there. Why is that important?
Oh, it's vital. Absolutely vital. Think about it. You're chatting. The AI gives you this perfect insight, this amazing connection between two documents. A real gem.
Yeah, it happens all the time, and you scroll up and it's gone.
Right. Here, you just click Save to Note. Boom. It saves that gem, that answer, that summary into a dedicated notes area for that project.
So it doesn't get lost in the chat history.
Exactly. It builds up your final output, your key takeaways, safe and sound. It's the bridge between the conversation and the actual work product.
Okay, that makes sense. But all this, the trust, the interface, it hinges on how much data the AI can actually handle, right? Which brings us to this massive context window you mentioned.
This is arguably the biggest deal. Technically complex, maybe, but the implications are enormous.
So explain context windows, like AI memory.
Yeah, think of it in 2 parts. There's the AI's long-term memory. That's the huge pile of internet data it was trained on. Basically the same for all the big models.
Okay.
Then there's the short-term memory, the context window. That's the specific stuff you feed it for this conversation, this project. And right now, the race is all about making that short-term memory, that context window, bigger. Much bigger.
And Notebook LMs is big.
Yeah. It uses Google's Gemini 2.0 Flash model. It can handle up to 50 different sources in one project.
50 sources, okay.
And each source can be up to 500,000 words.
So 500,000 words per source.
Yep. Do the math. 50 sources times 500,000 words each.
That's 25 million words.
25 million words of context. It's staggering. Think about that. It's like 400 novels worth of information it can hold in its active memory for your project.
So that whole anxiety of, oh no, will it remember the first document by the time I upload the data? That's just gone.
Pretty much gone. You don't have to pre-summarize or chop things up nearly as much. You can just, throw the whole library at it.
Okay, hold on. 25 million words is incredible.
Yeah.
But doesn't that create a different problem? Like information overload for the AI. If I dump 10 years of meeting notes in there, how does it know what's actually relevant without me asking super specific questions?
That's a fair question. And it comes down to the quality of the underlying model, Gemini 2.0, and this focus on understanding. Because it holds so much context simultaneously, it can do true synthesis across documents, not just look things up.
Synthesis,
Yeah.
meaning connecting ideas.
Exactly. Connecting ideas across wildly different sources and time spans. Imagine this. You upload all your customer interviews from the last 5 years, thousands of pages maybe, plus all your internal product specs.
Okay.
Instead of needing a database query expert, you just ask, across all this feedback, what are the top 3 features people keep asking for that we haven't built yet?
And it can pull that out from thousands of interviews.
That's the promise. Or think about a nonprofit. You upload every successful grant proposal you've ever written. Years of them. Plus, you upload details on hundreds of currently available grants.
Right.
You could ask, based on our past winning proposals, which of these new grant opportunities are we best positioned to win? It analyzes patterns across your history and the current landscape.
That's incredibly powerful. Tailored strategic advice based on your own history.
And it gets personal, too. Imagine uploading, say, a decade's worth of your reading highlights from articles, maybe your journal entries, your professional notes.
It's even personal now.
Yeah. But think. The AI could synthesize all that. Maybe 5 huge Google Docs worth of your thoughts. It could tell you, hey, you seem consistently interested in X and Y, or here are some new topics you might like based on your past reading, and even generate a personalized study guide, all from your data.
Wow. A study guide based on my own brain dumps over years.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned multimodal sources. We hear multimodal a lot. What does it mean here? Here, it specifically means handling more than just text. Critically, it includes understanding content within images, especially images embedded in things like Google Slides.
So it can read charts and diagrams, not just see a picture.
Precisely. It treats them as data. The example our source gave was perfect. An insurance agent sends you a slide deck comparing 2 health plans.
Ooh, those are always dense. Complex tables, colors, columns. Hard to parse quickly.
Totally. But you could ask Notebook LM, summarize the core cost differences between Plan A and Plan B, or even calculate the total annual cost difference if I enroll my 6 employees.
And it pulls the numbers right out of the tables on the slide.
Yes. It analyzes the visual layout, extracts the data from the rows and columns, and gives you the answer with citations pointing back to that exact table on that exact slide.
Okay, that's genuinely useful. Analyzing visual data like that. Incredible.
It bridges the gap between visual presentation and actionable data.
All right, so we have massive context, verifiable trust through source grounding, and it can even read charts on slides. Now, how do we start to sort of get a feel for all this synthesized knowledge before jumping into a deep Q&A? You mentioned audio overviews.
Yes. This is, for me, maybe the most surprisingly useful feature, especially for knowledge workers. It generates, on demand, a simulated podcast conversation.
A podcast.
Yeah.
Like this.
Exactly like this. 2 AI hosts, sounding quite human, discussing the key themes, findings, and connections only within the sources you provided.
So based purely on my documents.
Purely on your documents. We saw an example where someone uploaded travel notes, links, maybe some guides for a trip. The AI hosts then had a conversation about the itinerary, the logistics, local culture highlights, suggested routes, all synthesized from the provided material.
I can see the learning benefit there if you learn better by listening, or if you just need that sort of high-level overview before you dig into the details.
It's perfect for that. A passive listen, maybe on your commute. It gives you the landscape, the main point, so you know what specific questions to ask later when you're back at your desk. A kind of briefing generated just for you.
And it's interactive.
What?
You said you can interrupt.
You can. There's an interactive mode. Let's say you're listening to that travel itinerary discussion and you suddenly remember, oh, I forgot to mention I have 2 young kids, ages 2 and 4.
Right, that changes things.
Big time. You hit join, type, or speak your constraint. need kid-friendly options for ages 2 and 4, and the AI hosts will immediately adjust. They'll start discussing playgrounds, nap times, adjusting the pace, finding different activities.
Real-time adaptation. That's essential for any kind of complex planning. But what about using it for more personal stuff? You mentioned journaling.
Yeah, this was fascinating. Load up your year-end review, maybe a personal journal kept over months, hit audio overview, and you hear these two AI voices objectively discussing your year, your milestones, your challenges, maybe recurring anxieties you wrote about. The example given was hearing the AI host's note. It seems a recurring theme this year was a worry about being performative.
Whoa. Hearing your own subconscious patterns discussed objectively by outside voices.
It's incredibly powerful. It can help break through your own biases or blind spots. It makes your own internal thoughts feel observable, objective, a unique tool for self-reflection.
That really takes the idea of synthesis to another level, consolidating complex, even personal knowledge into an engaging audio format.
Okay, so once you have this high-quality synthesized audio, what then? Does that open doors for sharing these insights?
Well, exactly. The audio quality is surprisingly good. Natural-sounding voices, good pacing, pauses, and creators immediately saw the potential.
For making actual content.
Yeah, because Notebook LM outputs two distinct audio tracks, one for each AI host, perfectly separated, crucially, preserving the silences.
Why is preserving the silence important? It means you can easily sync it to video. So sophisticated users are taking these Notebook LM audio conversations.
The ones based purely on their own documents.
Right. And they're feeding those separate audio tracks into AI video generation tools. They can create digital avatars, maybe even clone their own voice using other services, and generate a synchronized talking head video.
So turning that internal briefing or personal reflection into, like, a ready-to-share video update.
Precisely. It transforms that distilled knowledge from a private interaction into potentially a shareable piece of communication. Imagine generating a quick video summary of a complex project update for your team, voiced professionally, based entirely on the project docs, created in minutes.
That's quite a pipeline. From raw documents to synthesized audio discussion to shareable video.
It really closes the loop on knowledge management and communication.
So let's pull this all together. We started talking about that feeling of being overwhelmed by information, right?
Right.
Too much to read, not enough time.
And the big takeaway here with Notebook LM is this fundamental shift. The burden of constantly summarizing, connecting, just managing huge amounts of information starts to lift from you, the user.
Because the system does the heavy lifting.
It does the synthesis
Yeah.
across potentially 25 million words of your private and public data. And it doesn't just give you text. It presents it in these engaging, verifiable ways, like that personalized audio conversation we talked about.
That expanded memory.
Yeah.
The 25 million words combined with the verification. It feels like the core change.
It really is. It's like having this incredibly knowledgeable assistant or tutor with a near-perfect memory sitting beside you.
Someone who can remember that paragraph you wrote 3 years ago and connect it to a data point you saw yesterday.
Exactly. It streamlines that whole process of learning, analyzing, and even reflecting. In a world where we all need to learn faster and synthesize more, this kind of tool feels less like a novelty and more like, well, a necessity. It turns that feeling of overload into potential insight.
So thinking about that, with this ability to create truly customized learning plans or deep business analysis, all grounded in potentially 25 million words of your own specific data, what's that one big, maybe overwhelming learning project or analysis you've been putting off that you listening might finally tackle first?